Hello, this is Nina. I am here with the wonderful Bee Heart. We're going to be doing a little chat, a little conversation about a session that we had recently, which was very, very profound, I think, for both of us. So, Bee, do you just want to let me know how are you doing after the session, and how is it all
Okay.
been for you?
Okay, it's taken me 4 weeks to actually be able to word more of what happened. It was really deep and profound, more than I ever could imagine. So I was lacking words not only during the session, as you remember, you had to help me out a lot of the times because I was getting so many pictures and metaphors that I was describing to you because I just couldn't get the labels for it. Um, and I was many times tempted. I really wanted to give the testimonial because it was so profound and it was definitely a life changer for me, but I just couldn't do it. So with the new moon portal, I guess that made all the difference. And with me doing my homework that came out of the session, I woke up early this morning and I was told not to go back to sleep. They wouldn't allow me to sleep. So I took out the audio again and I listened and I just took down some notes um, to share with everyone who wants to know or needs to know something. Because we were told in the session to publish in an appropriate way the message we were getting. Now, we may even have to break it down in several little videos, but this would be like the overview of what I have experienced. Now, I wasn't feeling like I was very deep. I only noticed how deep I was when I received your audio, because when I listened to it, I thought, oh, really? Oh, yes, now I remember.
Yeah.
But I was so clear, I didn't think I was that deep. So what happened was I was firstly shown something that I had never seen in my life. It was my galactic home, which was a place where I was welcomed by what felt like my father, with a very warm voice and energies pouring down on me. Like the words were amazing. Like he said, welcome back, my child. And it was incredible. And I've never felt in my life like this. And I knew this father was God or the creator. It was something that was not physical. So then I was immediately seeing that on a certain level of existence, I am a golden dragon. Now, I had a previous session where I learned that I am a golden dragon on another level of existence, but this went much deeper. I was shown that the golden dragons themselves had created a healer lineage, because the golden dragons are fathers and mothers to many, many, many children that they let go out and experience their playgrounds. And like playgrounds for the humans, they get hurt, they get lost, they lose confidence and whatever. So the healer lineage, as they call it, was created deliberately to actually try and figure out ways to communicate with them when they had lost the signal or didn't recognize the signal of love anymore. So there's a lot of work done to find out which way to communicate. It was really beautiful to see. What they also showed me was that at the moment there is loads and loads of golden energy coming onto the planet. I was shown like as if someone is pouring buckets of liquid gold down on the planet. They showed me that a lot of the emotional issues that people have and that haven't been resolved are going to come up to the light, to the surface, to be healed.
Yeah.
Now, if someone is holding on to their armors, shielding themselves because the experience was so painful, that's going to be really tough, because the light that comes in, the golden light that comes in, really wants to open that so that you can actually breathe in more. But the person will hold on to their armors because there is, again, the fear of being hurt. So because they know this, they also have the energies of the golden healers, golden dragons healers lineage.
The background.
I hope they can still hear this. So of that lineage, they come in and they actually help to balance out and buffer out the pain that will be felt by people, because people will feel physical pain, partly like heart palpitations, tightness. Some people will actually, and they showed me this, like feel as if they get a heart attack and stuff like that. So energetically, they will work from above, but they will work with the people that have incarnated here from Golden Dragon's healer's lineage on the planet. And they explain to us that you and me are part of that family as well. So there is a lot of help there, and this is why we should, I think, publish this knowledge that we got. Yeah. So when you feel the pain coming in and you feel the anxiety and whatever, you can know that there is help coming in at the same time. You just need to find the help. You just need a little bit of openness to work with these energies. Now, they also told us that there's a lot of people doing prayers, that there will be the need for prayers and holding space from people who have awoken already to the processes that are happening on the planet, and that they are, for all of us to live in a better world. We're creating a better world, but we need to clear out whatever hasn't worked for us and makes us really unhappy at the moment. Yeah. So if you, for instance, as the person watching this video, sit in prayers and hold space for people who suffer and allow the flow of your love energy from your heart towards anyone who is suffering, this will help already big time. Yeah. We were also given more information. I'm looking at my notes because I had to take them. So what they said, the healing will happen through the integration of things. So the integration of the experience that we had, that we could then call like a trauma, that we call emotional pain. This is nothing but the integration. The integration means we can benefit from what we learn from it, but we don't have to feel the pain anymore. Yes. And they made it very clear that integration doesn't have to be painful. So this is a message for people who feel you have to open their armor and they will be unprotected, that it does not mean they have to suffer again. There is ways of doing this with prayers, and we've just discussed it before we came online, that I will do a separate video in which I can actually explain more, because I was given so much detail that maybe it would be too much for here. So watch out for the other one to come. I was shown that I have agreed on a higher level of existence to help people integrate all their heartbreaks. So I'm sitting daily. And they showed me the image of me sitting. So I felt like obligated. Since then, I've been sitting every night doing exactly what I've been shown in pictures, and offering that I will do and integrate on behalf of the person that wants to release their heartbreaks to me, unbeknownst to me who this person is and unbeknownst what it is. I don't need to know that. I just offer this and I do this on behalf of them. So that's my prayer, that's my meditation that I have agreed to do. And they told me so in the session, otherwise I wouldn't know.
This was your homework.
So we were asked, my homework, and I really feel like when I don't do it, I feel like, oh my God, I really want to do this. So it felt very honorable as well, but it also was very empowering to see, because I was seeing the pain that could happen to people, and that happens to people, and I could see what could be done to help them. So I was really happy to be able to see that. Now, with the information, I have to go back to the dragons. I was also shown that I'm a lion dragon mother. So she cares very much for her children. And she consistently tries to keep the connection with them. So I was shown that on a higher level of existence, I would sing to the children, whatever lullaby, for instance, they knew from their childhood, or I would send out geometrical images or rainbows. Every child would be different in the way they would receive a message from home, from mother. So I would also jump in if there was like, I was shown a space where someone is like really like in a dark space, like in a depression, like totally locked in, can't come out, and cries out for help, help, help. and that I come as close as possible. I jump out like a lioness roaring to the dark shadows that are there to stay away from my children because I'm here. But I won't step into the whole scenario. I will step quite close and shed light on the scenario. So I will just, it's like a big spotlight, which is the love of the creator. And then I will allow them to work with that and find their way back. Now, what I recently noticed was that that is very similar to the way I've actually been dealing with my own children. I had to learn after I was first, of course, very protective and very overprotective at times as well. I had to learn to pull back step by step and allow them their own experiences, coming as close as possible and leaving as much space as possible. So it would explain a lot of my own behaviors and patterns that I, of course, sometimes would question, because as every mother does, she's never really sure, does she do the right thing? Or, you know, someone says something and you feel insecure. So that was really, really important. And it also explained to me why I've always loved all the children. I could never understand when people said to me, if there was like not enough food, and I would feed my own children first. And I could not imagine just to feed my children, because every other child would have the same pains, hunger pains, when there is nothing to eat. So it makes a lot of sense to me. I have loads of children in the universe, obviously. And it helped me great time to integrate my human experience in this lifetime. So I'm very grateful for that.
It was all very interesting that part all came through, and we were doing this session just days before the Lion's Gate.
Yeah.
Which was incredible. And I remember in the session you had this amazing vision of you had a cage in your chest, and there was a lion in that cage, and it was just about to burst open, and all of this love was going to be just showered all on the planet. And this was literally happening days before we went into the Lion's Gate porthole, which was really quite amazing, the timing of when we had our session, and the things you were saying, and the porthole that we were just going into, it's all just connected up so beautifully. So I found that really interesting.
I had forgotten, that's true. It was like a bang, like it was huge. And to be honest, when you think back, it was enormous. It was just incredible. It was incredible. That also makes sense that it took me so long. Like the first week after the session was, I wasn't really here. Like 2 days, I couldn't speak at all. I just couldn't speak. And I was glad I could be at home and I could just be with myself. My whole body was vibrating all the time. My legs were kind of feeling wobbly, like as if you have been on a fair, you know, roller coasters over and over again, something like that. And I really literally in between thought, oh my God, how am I going to reconnect to the ground that I live on? Like, how will I find this connecting point again without losing the higher vibration, without losing the knowledge, and being able to integrate that for myself and for the work that I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So that took me quite a bit. I also noticed that maybe 10 days after, a lot of fine-tuning of my own triggers happened, thankfully always to my family, which is, you know, they're always the nicest ones to help us, you know, bring up the mirrors. And there were 2 days where I got quite triggered and depleted. And then suddenly it occurred to me, this is my mirrors. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're so gracious. And they give me this. And I immediately switched. It was like a switch. From that point on, I just was there. I was me. I was being the pillar. I could actually snap out of that reality of third dimensional triggering and stuff like that. So I could see it was the next step, or seeing, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Because one of our questions also was, why was it me and you? Why should we connect this way?
Yeah.
And it was, why was I seeing what I was seeing was the first one. And they said, I was ready for it. So I will repeat, I was ready for it. And it was time to unlock both our potentials, you and mine. So it was important for the two of us to help and empower others. So we were shown how to how empowerment can happen for others technically through very practical advice. And this is what I will explain a little bit closer in the other video. And this one lovely message came through is that that was something I would only see. I didn't even say everything that I could see. It was not enough time. We already over it along. I think we went an hour longer or something like that.
3.5 hours, I think, in total.
Yeah, it was really long. It didn't feel like this, but
yeah.
So they say that humans complicate many things simply because we don't know. So BQH opens doors to this knowledge. And most things are simple and only have to be done, but you can only do them when you know it. So this is why I also did the testimonial for you, Nina, to say go for BQH if you have issues that are ongoing or questions or looking for your purpose or just want to experience this once. I know I was never going to go for hypnosis in the past, but once I did the first one, I knew hypnosis wasn't what I was thinking it is.
Absolutely.
It's just deep relaxation. I'm totally in control. I know I can say, this moment I stop it, I walk out of it, this is all nonsense, if I wanted to. But it's not. Once you do the process properly, it just gives you so many answers. So this has actually helped me big time in many ways. And I feel actually, when I look back on my own human process, as if I've grown from a 10-year-old to a 20 to 25-year-old person. Like, it was big leaps that I did take, and because I was quite aware I was in that process, I could step quite carefully. Not like in my childhood, you would think, oh, I'm a grown up, and you would just hop around without taking care of your environment. But I was looking really carefully, because even the standing in the field was feeling different. So I wasn't really sure where I was going. You probably had similar experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I have had that. When in my younger years, I definitely had moments of, what on earth is going on here? But yeah, like you were saying about the hypnosis, I think a lot of people think with hypnosis, you're automatically out of control. And it's not like that, is it? It's not, you're not out of control. You're very much in control, but you're relaxed enough to allow this information to come through you. And a lot of the time, the answers to our questions, although they're coming from a higher perspective, which can at times seem more complicated, actually the answers can be incredibly simple. But because our conscious minds and our critical minds are confusing everything by making it feel like it should be this way or it should be this way, and this is, or even our programmed minds, all of that truth that is really within us is just hidden by these other parts of our brains that kind of take over. So when we go into these states of hypnosis or trance, we're able to bring these truths from the depths of who we really are out to the surface, which is I think is just such a misconception about true not clinical hypnosis, this sort of hypnosis. So I just wanted to add that.
And I think it is really the control part is important, and it has always been important in my life. I always wanted control over my life. I never took drugs or anything because I wanted control. I was just so terrified. But with this way, it is like we have that pre-talk. So in the pre-talk, we talk about my questions, my issues. And the one thing that I find so important, because when you go into the trance, you are in these inner worlds. It's nearly like a dream world, to be honest. But I have you as my guide because we have talked about the questions. So you are guiding me, or else I would get lost.
Yes.
Like watching a beautiful movie, and you just want to sit and stare. You don't even want to talk. So you even need the impetus of the practitioner to say, the more you talk, the more you see and understand, which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. And over time, I can say, because I've done several sessions now, I do understand that the talking really aids me later because I get the audio.
Yeah.
And then with the audio, some of the messages that I have not brought to my day consciousness will come up over time. Yeah. So you have more control than ever, and you will feel like this is who you are. Like I always say, this is who I am here, my heart.
Yeah.
And this is what is speaking to me. And a lot of the times we do know a lot of the things already, don't we? Like that the voice that we kind of ignore so often.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's more of a confirmation of what we really know inside of us, but because we're battling with all this other stuff, it all gets pushed to the back. So that's why BQH and these other types of hypnosis are so powerful and helpful.
It's very powerful. Plus, we must add, I think, to this that when I talk, I am a golden dragon. That might feel like a very alien concept to people who listen to this. So because we have these kind of programming in our reality that makes us see things through certain perspectives and glasses and whatever, we have forgotten that there is other worlds out there, and we may find at times that we don't really know what's the dream. Is the dream the reality, or is the reality the dream? So but we get to see that. And in the beginning, that's what I felt in the beginning with my first session. I did that with Ron Amit, and he said to me, whatever comes to mind, say it, because this is what it is. And that's true, because your analytical mind will sit on the fence all the time.
Yeah. But
the more often you do things like that, you can actually allow them on the back seat and just talk, because this is what brings out the most beautiful parts, I think, and a lot of the solutions. And in the end, we have to say that as well, like the healing on physical bodies, on energy bodies, as we found out, there was still things to do. So, and this can only happen because we are detaching from the programs to a great extent. Yes. When we are in that. Because it sounds odd when you ask the higher self to do a scan and suddenly you have something here and you speak to it and it speaks like a computer to you, like a computer voice.
And that's exactly
because the program is there.
What happened? Yeah, that's what we experienced. Yeah, because there are these things that are within us that we don't realize. And I think when we're talking about dragons and things, I think it's also human nature to fear things that we don't fully understand. As there seems to be our natural response to things that we don't have a huge awareness of, and I didn't have a huge awareness of dragon energy before we went into the session. But since our session, I have very much realized that these wonderful celestial beings are incredibly loving and nurturing and beautiful, powerful creatures that have so much love and care for us. And it really is the opposite of the perception that humans have, that dragons are all fire and evil and scary and my understanding now, since we've had this experience of this session, is that they're incredibly loving, wonderful beings. So yeah, that's been something that's cropped up big time for me since our session. It's not often that we come across this kind of thing. I mean, we have fairies and pixies and things like that come through in sessions, but I've certainly not experienced anything like the golden dragon energies. And it's interesting that since our session, I've seen a lot of information come through about this golden energy that's coming to Earth. And we've sent it to each other when we've seen
Yeah.
it. We've been very vocal with each other about, have you seen this?
It was so validating.
Yes, exactly. And that's the lovely thing about these sessions as well, is that there's so much confirmation that comes to you beyond the session. And I guess that's why Beyond Quantum Healing is such a perfect title, because it goes beyond the session itself. The information through the recording and through just the way you integrate it into your life is that, it so much comes to you to confirm to you that the information that you've spoken is your truth. And that's a really, really powerful thing. So, yeah.
And while we speak, because we both have invited, of course, our spiritual teams to guide us in what we do here, I feel guided to say that in the future, whenever this may be, they showed us that Nina and myself may do a workshop or several of them in which we cooperate, and they showed us certain pictures. That's not to go into many details now, but it may be interesting for some of you later in your life. The point that they made is that there were some incarnates on the planet. They called them ambassadors, and they said that Nina is one of the ambassadors. Now, she has gone through hell, let's say it this way. This is a wording that would fit the bill, I think. And she has such great compassion. That's what they said. So if you feel you're very troubled and you have very unusual experiences, I think after what I've seen and heard through my own mind in that state of trance, you would be invited to actually connect with Nina, because they say she is particularly experienced and prepared, and also accompanied by the Golden Dragon Healers lineage in these sessions. So the one point for us to publish as much as we could and in an appropriate way was to make sure that people know these ambassadors or these embassies are there, and who are these ambassadors. So Nina is one. Maybe I'm one. I'm not too sure, but definitely Nina is one. So you can actually connect with her. And I think there's a lot of people who have unusual experiences and they have nobody to talk to, and they feel very awkward and they feel very, very bad and think they're mad, maybe even. So to know there is someone who can listen and can actually go with you into a trance state and can bring up knowledge, can help to release stuff that shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
it's great knowledge to have.
Yeah, just even an understanding of why these experiences have come into your experience of this life can be so healing, and so it can lift such a weight from you just by understanding why this has come about. So I think it's very powerful. Thank you for saying all that. That's very, very kind of you to say that. Of these lineages. I'd forgotten that they had mentioned that.
They made a big point of that. Even they showed me, because when you have gone through these situations, you fully understand these people because you've been there. You know how it feels, and you can hold space. That's what they showed me as well. The way you can hold space for people who are very, very troubled, or feel tortured all their lives, or they feel wrong in the wrong place, in the wrong body, in the wrong whatever. How many people are running around and saying, I'm not home, this is not my planet, I want to go home. They may be actually the ones that you get, and then they may find out why they're here, and they may be able to reconcile with whatever it is. And
I hear that all the time from people. I don't know why I'm here. I don't fit in. I don't know who these people are that are my family, supposedly. I just don't know who are these people. Why am I here? What is going on? And that's why BQH is so wonderful, because it can give you the answers to all of that. So can I ask, how do
Yes.
you feel your life has changed since your session?
I feel I knew things had to change, and I felt kind of a pressure to bring about change in my life. I knew I was going to do more work. I'm establishing a business with doing readings, intuitive guidance, advisory, helping people in daily life to feel better. But whenever I did a step, I felt like a lot of challenges and roadblocks appeared. And so I got an understanding that although this is what I'm supposed to do, I came in here, and that may sound like a very ego what I was shown it, because I have trained in so many areas on other levels and bring that in, which I can now acknowledge and be really confident with it. I can do many things, and I can have projects started, and I will not lose contact with the project, even if it is on hold. So what was revealed to me as the big task to help on behalf of other human beings to integrate heartbreaks, for instance, they told me has big priority. So that gives me confidence in when the roadblocks are there that I'm seeing for quite some time, that this may be related, so that I just need to learn more patience. And I felt like I've already learned 200% or 500% patience from where I started off as a young woman. So that has certainly totally changed. I also feel, I really feel, and it's an exaggeration, I feel I know who I am. And I know this is only a little bit I know, but it feels like I'm more me. I'm more me, although I know I'm living in a situation that will change in the middle term, will change in the way I live it. But I do not have that rush feeling anymore. Before it felt like, oh my God, I need to do it, or else what? I didn't even know what else. Now I feel I have all the time in the world. And as long as I do what I feel is right, and as long as I am centered, and I'm way more centered now, as long as I'm centered, I'm actually doing already a great job. I was shown that every human being that actually sits down and does 1 or 2 deep breathers up through the day is applauded by the higher realms, the angelic realms, say it this way. They're really like, oh my God, like, the way we look at a child that starts to crawl or stand up, like, oh, look, you can start. That's the way they do it with us, little bits. I think we have too big expectations. And this has changed for me. I don't have the expectation I need to do it within this and this time span. I can easily be more, even more than I already had started to live. And I feel that I had a lot of instant manifestations. And I told you before, but I maybe repeat that. I was in town yesterday in the city, and I never really liked the city. It's not even hectic. It's electric at times where I live in Dublin. So I went into town, and suddenly I got to stop in a little lane. Beautiful. The internet is a bit funny. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
There was a message.
Glitchy, but it's
There was a message, yeah, a little wobble maybe. And I was standing there, and I stopped, and I just imagined a pillar of light. So me connecting from the skies into the center of the earth, like with a white pillar of light. And it felt like, and then I thought, I am light. Wow. And I started to vibrate, and I've started to feel my energy field. And I was so grateful and so happy. So I extended that out even. I just played with it, and it was so easy. It was as if I was pushing something away just with ease. And so these things I can do now with such ease, just instantly they happen, and they make me feel so happy. I also looked at people in town and I saw the different expressions, some of them troubled, bent down, others, whatever way they looked. And I thought, oh my God, they're just my children. Not sure if they're really my children, but it was similar to the feeling that I had when I felt I was that dragon lion being, that mother being. So that has certainly changed for me. And the first thought, not very often when you see someone or something, you have a judgment on someone. That doesn't happen too often anymore. Or I'm like, huh? What's this? Kind of, I'm really changed in that regard. I'm not saying I haven't had my challenges. As I said, my fine tuning is done through friends, through family members. A lot of people are moving out, moving country as well. Very close friends, family members are moving. So that's another part to acknowledge that the light workers are going out different places, and I celebrate it. But with some people, I actually notice that I have a little bit of that kind of, oh, they're going, so this attachment is there. And but immediately kicks in, but they're family. So we have, anyway, that connection, similar to you and me, Nina. Didn't we have this kind of, I don't know, closeness since we connected? So, but that's the changes that I see. So way more confidence in that I am myself already. And actually, one of the things I notice is that what they call Ascension is actually what we create moment by moment now. So the words I use, the gratitude that I use when I come back into my home in the evening, oh my God, lovely place. I'm thankful I can be just by myself for now. Whatever way I'm able to hold space for another person, not get worked up, not getting excited or stressed out when something takes longer. This is, I think, creating the new world, if you wish to say it that way. So my behavior actually changes the world, like the wings of the butterfly, because people will see that.
Yeah.
They will notice. And even I notice, and I can actually acknowledge that for myself. So in that regard, it has changed me big time.
Amazing.
So grateful.
It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm so happy that you've had such a profound and wonderful experience. I really, really am. It makes me so grateful that I've chosen to do the work that I do, because it's amazing. It's wonderful.
It is amazing. And I'm so grateful for Dolores Cannon to actually start that off and spread it all over the planet now. And that we can do it via internet.
And exactly. And Candace Craw-Goldman, who...
Oh, yeah, Candace. Oh, my God, she's marvelous. Yes. Oh, my God, yes.
For bringing BQH into being, and for being such a wonderful human being herself. She's great. So what advice would you give to anyone who's interested in having a BQH session?
I would actually first say, don't be afraid of doing it online. I have loads of friends that I talk about BQH, and I tell them fiction is actually the real life. What I see in this session is the books you're reading. Yeah. So it's very exciting. But most people that I know say they could not do an online session. They need a person, someone that they could, tangible person. But I would say, honestly, even when I look at my own session, the last one with you, if I had to travel after this, I don't know how I would have done, honestly. But I was in my own room, in my bed. I could just lie down and just be me. So the advice would be to, of course, go with what you feel like. If you want an in-person session, of course, seek out someone, or even arrange, if it is Nina, arrange with her to meet her in her home. So you may have to fly over to where she lives. But the advice is also to actually make sure before the session that you know exactly what you want to know. So make a list of things that are important to you, your biggest troubles, your questions that you carry around for a long time. Um, don't try to hide anything. But even if you would, I can say by experience now from 4 sessions that I have, higher self knows, higher self feels like my parent actually. They will gently address that. They will never be harsh. I can say that as well. It's a very loving process.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you're failing, like a teacher is talking to you like in a not nice way. It's like very, very loving.
Yes.
So just put out all your question, and I can guarantee that Nina, for instance, will not say, "What, you're asking this question?" No, not at all. She will ask you and clarify what aspects do I understand your question right. So make sure you get the core of what really bothers you, and don't be afraid to consider if this works well or it doesn't have all the answers for you, to take another one after some time. Yeah. To clarify the rest, because be prepared, especially when you do the first one, you will have a lot of rational mind kicking in, and you will find a change that is quite unusual for you, maybe, because it will validate a lot of what you may have found odd before, like different energies, behaviors. You will start to be more yourself, which is a non-compliant human being, maybe at times. I don't know. But be prepared for these changes, because it's part of the process, but it will make you feel so much better because you understand you so much better. So make sure you ask the questions that really are on your soul and, always bother you. And it can be anything. It could be family issues, race, relationship, money. It could be anything, diseases. Just write it all down.
And the intention as well, the intention for your session, which is a
Yes.
really unique part of BQH, is that set an intention. And we don't just set an intention, we actually infuse that with water. If anybody's aware of Dr. Emoto's studies on water, and the power that water holds, the memory that water holds, that's just such a powerful thing. And when you look back at the intention of the session after the session, it's always remarkable what's happened in the session and what the intention was, because they're just so in line with each other. So it's a really really powerful part of it, but that's something that we can create together before the session starts. Have you got anything else you want to share with
the main part I advise would be to be very open. Like, I mean, it is a big stretch, or would have been a big stretch for me 2, 3 years, 4 years ago to realize I am a golden dragon. Like, I would have had a lot of problems. But since I have learned a lot, so you can be sure you will not be thrown into an area like that immediately. So you may maybe experience other things when you do your first one. So I think that's also important to say, because mine was a 4th or 5th one now. So I have worked on it because I wanted to, and I'm seeing different areas maybe, and I never know what I see. It was still a big surprise.
You're never given any more than you can handle.
They can handle
the session. You're never thrown into the deep end.
No.
You're never giving more than you can actually comprehend in one of these sessions, which is a very gentle way of expanding your consciousness. I was watching a video the other day with somebody who was mentioning psychedelics, and how psychedelics can catapult people into an experience that they maybe aren't anywhere near ready to handle, which can be extremely detrimental for their being, which is why these kind of processes, these hypnotic kind of processes, are much more gentle
Yes.
in giving you what you need at the time of the session, as opposed to
Yeah.
what you want or what you think might happen. It just gives you what you need. So yeah, and you're right, being open to receiving whatever information is being given to you is the perfect way to deal with it.
It's like Christmas, isn't it? When you open the boxes and are like, oh, I never thought I was going to get this.
Yeah, it's like a big lovely Christmas present. Yeah,
Yes,
so
you
one you
can read.
never forget ever. It's,
Yeah,
yeah, every session for me has been like that. It's been
yeah,
such a wonderful gift, and
yeah.
I've had something so remarkable taken from each one of them as well. Just yeah, it's great. Is there any other information from your session that you want to share?
I don't think so. I think I've gone through all my notes, and there are many. um, yeah, maybe one thing that may bother people. I said that I'm working for every human being who wants to release some of their heartbreaks. I am not to know anything. I don't know who released. I don't know what they release. I just ask for them to release on a soul level, on a free will basis, whatever trauma or heartbreak they have, to a table that I imagine in front of me, and I'll be integrating that on their behalf. I don't look at anything. I'm not even interested. I'm just doing the energetic work. I'm aided by, I think, my guides, and by it's all done from the heart space. So just to say that that is nobody's spying or anything. This is only to help the enormous pain that's coming up for people with the influx of that golden light that I have been seeing coming down, and that's causing a lot of people who are not prepared a lot of issues. But it's not about me knowing anything. I don't see anything, and I wouldn't want to. So I'm just doing the process, the meditation, and or prayer, whatever you call it. So that's very important for me to say, that nobody feels insecure there. Or
Anybody wants to contact you and speak to you about the work that you do, how would they best contact you? What's the easiest way to contact you?
Currently it's Be Heart, Facebook Be Heart. That would be my main page at the moment. I'm still in the process, as I said. The roadblocks are still there for me to hobble over, and they can connect with me there. And yeah, I'm moving forward slowly. I only have a few clients that I do regularly. I'm going to have some group offers as well in the future, I hope. And I'm going to open a group page as well, but it takes time. But Facebook Be Heart would be the contact point exactly at the moment.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and speaking to me today. It's been so lovely to connect. And
thank you. I'm ever grateful.
Now.
Very grateful.
Oh. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you, B, for coming on and speaking to me. And if you yourself would like to have a BQH session with me, you can go to my website, www.rafaelasoulsessions.com. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me here, and you can find me on Instagram as well. So yeah, if you want to have a session, please do get in touch. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you, B.
Bye-bye.